Hello, my little angels. Here we are, all in one piece after the emotional roller coaster that was the G20 Leaders Summit in Buenos Aires last weekend. From Trumpisms to earthquakes, this epic summit had it all. Today's episode is going to be mostly G20 related, so if you don't like it, sorry about it. No, I'm actually not kidding. On the first day of the G20, when all of the freaking presidents, prime ministers, kings, sheiks, and whatever the hell they are were meeting right here, an earthquake with a magnitude of 3.8 on the Richter scale hit southern Buenos Aires. That's right, an earthquake. You know the last time Buenos Aires had an earthquake? The 1880s, aka when Adrian was born. That's right, back when the US had only 39 states and German East Africa was a real country. Talk about a throwback Thursday. Fortunately, no one was injured, but seriously, that's just insane. And despite the initial freak accident, courtesy of Pachamama, kudos to Argentina for organizing a pretty spectacular event that made us look like we knew what we were doing in front of the entire world. For 48 hours, President Macri had a chance to host some of the most powerful people in the world and even take a break on Friday night and host a little gala at Teatro Colón. Shout out to Angela, who brought her very practical handbag to the event. We were admittedly very nervous about security, mainly because of what happened 2 weeks ago before the big Boca River final, but funnily enough, no major problems were reported. In fact, even the anti-G20 protests in downtown Buenos Aires were much more civilized than they were last year in Hamburg, when they pretty much burned the entire city to the ground. So everyone who thinks that Europe is better and more civilized can just refer to this example. Thank you. Goodbye. Of course, the final communique issued by the participating countries is a whole different story, since basically it's a big bunch of nada. Mainly, what everyone agreed upon is that whatever we're doing isn't really working, and we need to reform things before they get a lot worse. How will we achieve that? I don't know. If I knew, I'd be running for president. Vote for me, 2020. And speaking of presidents, this guy had an extra section included in the final communique just to say that even though all the other member countries recognized climate change as a real threat, and speaking of presidents, this guy had an extra section included in the final communique to say that even though all of the other member countries recognize climate change as a real threat, the United States wants out of the Paris Agreement because it's snowing this winter, so global warming is like a hoax or whatever. I didn't vote for him, I swear. In other news, China continues to give us money, and we continue to take it. Last weekend, the two countries signed deals that represent more than $5 billion in Chinese investment in railways, roadwork, and alternative energy. Better start learning Mandarin, boo-boo, and the sooner the better. Just in case you're thirsty for more, we published a lot of G20 coverage on thebubble.com, so please check it out. Make our 3-day marathon of working around the clock for you worth it. And last but not least, the Copa Libertadores final between Boca and River is finally going to be played in Madrid on Sunday. And that's all I can say about it because, frankly, I don't care anymore. And if you're upset about not being able to see the game, maybe next time, don't throw rocks at the bus. Okay? Also, because we have a new sponsor, I've made the executive decision that from now on, the events part of this video will be done with me drinking a glass of wine. That, and because, well, any excuse to drink while working is valid for me, thanks. I literally don't care that it's 9:30 in the morning. You're probably watching this while hungover and covered in crumbs, so don't judge me. What better way to enjoy a nice goblet of Cabernet than with a heaping plate of Italian pasta? If you're around this Saturday and miss la pasta de la nonna, head over to the Mercado de las Pulgas in Palermo for the Festival Al Dente by Il Ballo de Matone, where you can eat all the carbs you want, and who cares? Summer's around the corner and we haven't even really started the gym yet, so it's not like it's going to make a difference anyway. If pasta's not your thing, then this Sunday at 12 p.m. you can head to the Club Hípico Argentino for the international final of the Red Bull Batalla de los Gallos, which sounds like cockfighting, but in fact, it's a freestyle rap contest. Is that what you call it? A rap contest? I feel like a grandmother right now. Cool, whatever. 16 freestylers from 13 different countries will be competing to see who will be crowned King of Spanish Hip-Hop. Trademark that. So if you're into wearing Nikes and baggy jeans and rhyming and improvising while throwing some shade, this is clearly the event for you. That's all for now, angels. Salud, and I'll be back next week if I'm not drunk enough. Probably I will be with more of this. Oh, and I leave you now with the most embarrassing moment of the year, courtesy of Crónica. Because it's, hay un final al, this is why I drink.